So Zabi just posted the data mines for today's update. Yes, we had an update today, guys, if you don't know. And let's talk about the stuff that I didn't talk about before on the main, changes video, right? There we talked about mainly two things because there weren't that many things. Of course, the addition of the M9X and of course the proper addition, right? And of course the new F-35. But let's talk about some of the more hidden stuff. So just like we've been doing during the week, right? We started off with something that I noticed during that video, but I really wanted to talk about at the beginning of the video, is that they changed the radar of the sniper. As you see, it is not the Israeli radar anymore. Now it uses the normal N019. I don't know if this is supposed to be like this or not. In real life, I don't think they tested any other radar. They had a plan to add another radar, but they actually just had a plan and it never got to the concrete phase of that plan, and they had only the export model of the N019. So yeah, this aircraft is becoming less and less capable, less and less fun, to be honest. So let's wait and see if they change the BR, maybe add a new missile or something, right? Because for now, although it has an amazing skin, it's not really that worth it, okay? For the price especially. So this is one of the first things. Of course, the F2 as well, as you see right here, got a new MFD. So let's take a look on this MFD. He also got like the wings break off, kind of is working in a better way. But yeah, you can see that now the MFD of the radar, if I'm not mistaken, is getting better. Let's see. MFDs. Oh no, this is the MFT. That's cool, man. So yeah, we have basically like the weapons, loadouts. Basically, we have the ASMs and everything. That is very cool. Of course, we have the radar, the RWR. So very, very cool. This is amazing for, of course, simulator battles, because you know the missile that you are using. If you change the missile as well, look at that. You know which of it will be fired, which is pretty cool. Let's try to fire one of these. There we go. It disappears. Well, that's a very cool MFD. Very cool. So, yeah. Another interesting thing for the F2 itself is that now it has as stock, as the normal stock loadout, it will be basically this one. So when you are stock, you're going to be able to fire 2 AM3s and 2 AM4s. And you will be able to carry the fuel tanks as well. So very, very cool. It wasn't like that, and it makes sense, right? Another thing is that now the Stinger missile, the ATAS over here, has the proper, UI thing. Because before it was using the ATGM one, so now it uses the proper IR missile, which is pretty good. Another fix for the Comanche. And now multiple aircraft are receiving proper ways to deal with ground targets and especially sea targets. So as you see with the Eurofighter, we have the GMTI here, but if you click again, I just clicked again, and it doesn't have like the proper UI name for now, but it is going to be like a sea scanning mode where you can basically get locks for your for basically ships, right? So yeah, and even the range of these is pretty interesting. Of course, this is probably being added because they are adding ships to ARB again, right? Which is a pretty cool thing, and you will be able to do ground striking missions with that, right? So again, just for let you know, you will have the first TWS GMTI, which is the one to detect where the moving tanks are, as you see. And if we click again, it will go for the ships. It doesn't have the correct name yet, but it is a working mode right now, which is a pretty interesting thing. For some reason, I couldn't detect this one, but you get the point, right? And many vehicles have this. Of course, the copter of the Eurofighters have this, and it will have around 150 kilometers of this thing, so it's very long range. But also we have the Blue Vixen radar, which is the radar of the Sea Harrier FA2. So this one Yeah, it's just bombs. So this one will also have this ground mode. And the PS-05A, the radar of the Gripen Cs and As, they also will have the sea search mode. So yeah, let me test it out. Yeah, TWS GMTI, you click once again. So again, you need to go to the first one and then you click again. So it's the second TWS for now. It's gonna have its own name, but you get the point, right? So yeah, again, sometimes it's a little bit harder to lock, but you come on, radar, you can do it. A lot of targets. So for some reason it's not locking, but work in progress, of course. So yeah, also the Gripen C and A, they do have that as well, which is pretty cool, isn't it? Hopefully they add the anti-ship missiles for everybody that can have anti-ship missiles. Might not be the most worth it thing ever, but it's still pretty cool, isn't it? By the way, if you didn't see the other video, yeah, we got a new Draken. I already talked about in that video, so check it out there. But basically we have a new Draken squadron vehicle for the Swedish Air Force, okay? Or Tech 3, right? Because it's a Danish vehicle. And yeah, guys, the AIM-9X was added, right? I already talked about this. We're gonna, you know, test it out a little bit more with it while I talk about some of the things. So, for example, now you will have a booster burn time of 5 seconds with an increased power. Of course, we don't have anything to compare to, but yes, it is indeed here, of course. And it has IR with INS guidance, which is pretty cool. So you will use the radar basically to get to the target and destroy it. I will probably do a video testing it out and everything, but yeah, the AIM-9X is here for ground forces, of course, right? So it's a pretty interesting missile, one of the most advanced IR missiles in the world, added for the US, of course, as their new AA system, which is pretty cool. Talking about AA systems, there is a change to the Japanese Tamsam Kai over here. The major thing is that now you can destroy the Tamsam Kai radar and you will still be able to launch the missiles. That's because these trucks, just like the normal Type 81, they have a optical tripod, basically, system that you can just put on the side of the truck in real life and command the turret looking optically to the target and firing an IR missile. I think it's mostly for IR missiles, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But because of that, it means that if you get its own, I think the only AA system of these new ones, that if the radar gets destroyed, you can still stay alive with the 2 launchers and keep firing missiles. You just don't have a radar anymore, but and the computer and everything, right? You will have basically just the launchers. Of course, for most of the maps in Ground RB, they introduced a new spawn for the air, so a little bit more basically obfuscated, right? So it's a little bit away from the target area. So you will be able basically to spawn in with aircraft from further away, around 25 kilometers more or less. So a lot of maps. I'm not going to list them all, basically all the maps. And also, they are changing small things in these air maps as well, where they are, like maps like this, where if there is a possibility of having ships, they are working to have it. So yeah, a lot of maps are basically changing these type of thing. These are the main things. Of course, we had some changes to fly models, and they changed it with that a little bit of the fly model of the Mirage 3S over here. You will be able to pull a little bit more in certain situations, maintain better turn in certain situations, which is pretty good. You can feel that the aircraft is very mobile, although, and they also changed it a little bit of the smoke that appeared there, the condensation, right? And basically the aircraft is supposed to be even more of what we talked about with the dogfight video, so more in between the C and E Mirage 3s, right? A little bit heavier, a little bit more sluggish, but not by much, than the C, and a little bit better than the E, right? So in between those, it has now a BR of 10.3. I think yesterday it was 10.7 or something. I don't know. I might have just, you know, I don't know. I was recording yesterday and I 100% was appearing 10.7 for me. But yeah, basically the aircraft is one of the best Mirage 3s that you can have right now. So it is a very fun aircraft to fly. Just remember, the Falcon missile do love a chef, okay? So always remember that. Also, the Z10s basically got a change on weight and everything. So both of them are heavier now, but quite a bit actually. So around 400 kilograms on the ME2, or the ME, right? And the other one, the Squadron Premium, whatever, it's now a Squadron vehicle actually, which is pretty cool. It was a Premium yesterday. So this also got heavier weight, so 300 kilograms more or less. And then both of them have a little bit more drag in certain situations, which means lower top speed, and also some other changes to the governor of the propeller and everything. So they're fixing everything, but there isn't that many things, okay? One last thing that I wanted to show to you guys is that the L39 has now a cockpit apparently. So this will be the last thing that I show to you guys, because there isn't that many things. You know, these are the inner bits, but to be honest, that's kind of it. Nothing too crazy. Oh my god, that's a good cockpit. This looks amazing. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, the L39 has now the cockpit, and remember guys, the KA-60 helicopter, the Kasatka helicopter that was in the files with its cockpit, apparently that cockpit is used in this thing. So no Kasatka coming apparently, unfortunately, but yeah, L39 now one step closer for being ready. I think it is ready already, right? I mean, the aircraft is pretty much done, I think. But yeah, basically this is it. Like I said, not a lot of things to talk about, but inner bits here and there getting fixed so that we can have the patch soon. I would be really surprised if we see an update tomorrow, because it's Sunday. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out, and of course, if there is anything new, I will be covering. So make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and I see you guys on the next one. So bye guys, see you.